I don't know about you, but I have a crazy busy mind. And a lot of the times I can keep it under control, but sometimes it just becomes overwhelming what's happening up there. And it reminded me that sometimes my business becomes overwhelming, and what do I do then? I outsource. So let's take a little trip and see what that would look like if we were talking about our thoughts. I'm Stacy Rocklein, and I help people write new love stories about themselves so they can break down their walls and start living a deeply connected life. So you got all kinds of things going on up here, right? And if it gets too busy and too jumbled, it's hard to be effective. Sometimes it's hard to even move. And it can be even painful depending on what is going on up there. But it happens to all of us, and it's perfectly normal. However, let's think about it like outsourcing, just like we would do in a business. And so I'll give you my outsourcing guidelines that I use, and we'll apply them to our thoughts. First thing I always keep. Anything in my business that I love to do, I keep. That stays in my domain. And think about your thoughts the same way. What do you love, love, love to think about? Actually make a list, and you'll use them in just a minute. So you make a list of all the things that you love to think about, because you're gonna keep that stuff, right? And then there are things in my business that just make sense for me to keep. And there are things in our brains that just make sense for us to keep. Sure, we could outsource them, but it's probably just as easy if we do it ourselves, right? If I've got what's for dinner going on in my brain, yeah, that probably is something that I need to think about at some point. So it's okay to keep those, but we want to make sure that they're not becoming everything, right? That's not all we're thinking about. We want to be thinking about the fun stuff too. Now we talk about what we get rid of. So one thing I outsource is anything I cannot stand doing. Anything that I hate, I sit down to do it and I just feel icky, right? We want anything like that in our brain going on. We want to get rid of that stuff too. Dump that out, right? Easier said than done. It's not that easy, but that's why we have our list of things we love to do. Because as soon as you feel yourself having that painful thought, that thing that makes you feel terrible, you can't stand, you go right to one of those things you love to think about. Do you love to think about memories or people that you love or creative ideas or the project you're working on? Know those loving thoughts that you have, or thoughts you have about things that you love, so that you can go right to them when you feel yourself in one of those painful places. What else do I outsource? I outsource things that I know someone else can do a way better job of than I can. And there are things in our brain also that can be outsourced and someone else can do a better job. Maybe it's just like things on your to-do list that you can ask someone else to do, but here's the way I want you to think about it. I don't know if it's God for you or universe or divine energy or spirit or whatever, but my belief is that there is something out there running the show that's bigger than us that can solve my problems and create ideas better than I can. And so I like to release that to the experts, whoever out there can do a better job than me. And you simply just say, hey, I'm handing that one over to you. You work on that, because I don't want it in here right now. So 4 ways we can deal with the ideas in our head. If it gets to be too much, too overwhelming, then outsource, right? Or follow these guidelines for outsourcing anyway. All right, hope that helps you next time that you are feeling really scattered, really all over the place, or even in a lot of pain. Think about it just like a business. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Mwah.